Hello everyone, welcome to this wonderful session of Master TOEFL where I am guiding you how to ace your TOEFL examination and specifically how you can ace your writing section. What are the things that you have to follow at the time of preparation? What are the things that you have to take care and what are the mistakes you don't have to commit? And at the same time, how you can rectify your errors if you have committed any. So let's understand. Hi Varendra, very good afternoon. So now come on, be quick, come into the session so that we can start our sessions, and I know that you guys are very much excited to have the session. Okay, so now be quick and let's understand now what are the topics I'll be covering and how I'll be helping you in order to ace your TOEFL section. Okay, now so here are some of the topics that I'll be covering today. So starting off with question structure, approaching tips, scoring criteria, sample response and skill building, of course. So I'll be dealing with each and every kind of topic, each and every kind of question structure, how you are going to deal with that particular question, what are the things that you have to take care at the time of preparation and at the time of coming up with the response. Understand that if you're preparing for your TOEFL examination, it is really very important for you to not only take care of one section that you're dealing with, but at the same time, you have to be really good at the other sections as well, which is inclusive of the reading section, listening section, writing and speaking at the same time, right? So it's like whatever section you are dealing, all the sections are compiled in all kind of task, whatever question type that's going to come to you. You need to be very precise on answering all of them. Now these all things I'll be showing you practically as well, so don't worry, be here. Okay, and let's understand what actually are the things that we are going to deal with. Okay, now starting off first with the reading passage. So let me just brief it up to you. Basically what happens in your TOEFL examination in writing section is you are going to get a reading passage. Okay, you are going to get a reading passage, and this passage you will be given 3 minutes in order to read the passage. Okay, now the question can be of anything but from the academic background, it is going to be there. Okay, and one thing, you don't have to be familiar with the topic prior to answering the question. It's just that whatever information you would like to gain, whatever response you are going to give, it is going to be entirely related to how you can inculcate the information that is already provided to you through reading and listening. Got it? So yes, this is how you need to be very careful of at the time of presenting your responses. Now, so 3 minutes, you'll read a passage about 300 words that discusses a specific topic, usually presenting 3 key points supporting a particular viewpoint. Now, to all those people out here who are actually preparing for the TOEFL examination, you already know, you might be already, aware of, and if you're not, if you are a beginner, then let me just tell you, for TOEFL, there are some things which are very common in nature. Okay, first is paraphrasing. So you need to be ready for this, and also what you need to be ready with is note making. You should be having a really good command on note making, how you can filter out your data, how you can filter the relevant content from the data or the information that is already mentioned to you, how you can come up with a proper response out of that data, right? So note making, and also one thing I would like to say, which is clarity. Okay, because see, you are exposed to a lot of information that is being given to you, right? So you need to be very particular of which information you need to choose, which you need to retain, and which you need to come up with a proper response, and what are the irrelevant one also. Because whenever a set of information is being given to you, you should be having that kind of filtration process, or your thought process on how you can filter out the relevant data from the irrelevant data. Okay, so that you can come up with a proper response. Now these 3 things are very important. You need to keep this in mind. Also, Now let's understand how we are going to move ahead. So what you got to know is you are going to get a reading passage out here, right? And then it comes a listening passage. Now what is listening passage? Listening passage is majorly dealing with listening audio. So basically it is going to be for 2 minutes. So 3 minutes in reading, 2 minutes in listening, and you will listen to a lecture where the speaker typically challenges or contradicts the point made in the reading passage. Now I know initially there might be possibility you might not be getting how the things are there and it's going to be way too difficult to cater with. It is not like that. You just need to inculcate some habit. These are the basic habits that you're going to be having. And you know what's the best part of having this kind of structure is directly or indirectly you are related to the particular section, right? So directly or indirectly you are related to a particular topic, you are related to a particular section of that particular English proficiency examination. So it's like you have command of the entire and overall section that is being presented to you. Okay, it's not only that if you're dealing with the speaking section, you are only dealing with the speaking section. No, at that point of time, you've got to be good with the listening, you've got to be good with the reading, and you've got to be good with the writing. Okay, in this way, it is like overall development of yours that you can come up with, which is actually good on your professional being as well as your physical being, right? So now let's understand the next one, which is writing task. Okay, here comes, once you're done with the reading and listening, then you're going to come up with the writing task. You're gonna get 20 minutes and you are required to write a response which is going to be of like 150 to 225 words. So this is the limit that is being given to you. Okay, now that summarizes the key points made in the lecture and explain how they oppose or relate to the points in the reading passage. Got it? So now you have to come up with the response in that 20 minutes, which is going to be having a word constraint of 120, 150 to 225 words, right? So this is the kind of, demand, or you can say the word limit TOEFL writing section has. Okay. Now, there are certain things that you need to understand. So, this is all. Now, let's have a quick summarization of whatever we have dealt as of now. Okay. So, basically what I got to know that we are going to have a reading passage. Okay. We are going to have a reading passage to which for this we are going to get 3 minutes. Okay. Okay. So, the timer is going to be there visible for you so that you can track on that as well, right? So, the timer will be visible to you. Also, in that 3 minutes, what are the things that you need to do? What are the things you are responsible for? You just don't have to read the passage, because ultimately, I know it is not possible for any of us to, retain that memory for a longer period of time. Why am I saying that? It is very important that by the time you are reading, you need to go for the note-making process as well. Because note-making will help you to, cater with the inferences. What is inference? What you can actually take out from that particular passage. That is inference. Okay? Or you can say meaning. Okay, now you need to be very good at taking out the informative things from the passage that is there. Okay, what else? Got it? These are the things you need to take care at the time of reading. Now, what's next? The next thing that we are going to encounter is the listening portion. You're going to be having an audio of like 2 minutes. Okay, and again you have to deal with note making. Now, you need to understand one thing. Whatever topic or whatever question type, whatever information is mentioned in the reading passage. Okay, so whatever topic is being mentioned in the reading passage, some or the other way or entirely you can say it is going to be related to the lecture that you are going to listen. Okay, now one thing I would like to tell you over here that the reading, once you read the reading passage, it's going to disappear and then the audio will come into action. Okay, but the moment the audio gets over, again the reading passage will be there. So let's suppose you are even though you're having that reading passage, still you need to be very focused on understanding what's there in the reading passage, because eventually you have to take the data from both the sections, which is from the reading and the listening, and then you have to compile them up, managing the facts and figures. At the same time, you have to present a 20 minutes writing response, right? So it's really very important to take both the data into consideration. Remember, both listening and readings are connected to each other. Okay? They both are going to be connected to each other. How? So let's suppose if in reading we are going to have a problem, then we will be having a solution in listening. So let's suppose if there is some or the other opinion is there in the reading passage, then we are also going to have another opinion in the listening passage. Okay? So it's going to be like the passages can vary, like it can be problem solution, two opinions which are contradicting or opposing. Okay, it can be anyhow, right? Now, so let's understand what's next. So the next thing that we are going to have is the writing portion, for which you are going to get 20 minutes. So 20 minutes here, 5 minutes compiled both. In total, you are going to get 25 minutes in total. Okay. And then you have to write up your response. Now, you need to make one thing sure at the time of writing your response, and that is your answer should be in sequence. When I say sequence, what are the information that you have extracted from the reading portion? What are the information that you have extracted from the listening portion? And how you are going to compile them up, and how you are going to present them in your writing section. So you have to be very much focused at the time of presenting them. Okay. Sequence should be there. Flow should be smooth. Okay. What else? Transition of ideas, also spellings. These are the things that you need to be very careful of at the time of writing up your response, right? So now this is in total all the things that are there. Okay. Now one thing I would like to tell you more, that there are a lot of things that you need to cater with at the time of presenting your response. One thing is, I have already told you, no, it's spellings. Okay. So these are very meticulous things that I'll be telling you. Grammar. Now, grammar constitutes of everything. It constitutes of tenses, prepositions, pronunciation I'm saying, preposition, punctuations, parts of speeches, your, the various vocabulary that you are using. Okay. One more thing. Because see, the leniency in this examination is not much. So, you have to come up with rare or no errors. Yes, this requires a lot of proofreading, a lot of revision, a lot of evaluation of your response, right? So, be very careful of when you are attempting this kind of a question. Okay. Now, this is the passage. This is the kind of passage you are going to encounter. Now, this is just for sample. Okay, have a quick look at it. Now, see, let's understand what are the things we need to take care at the time of reading. Okay. Focus on the inference, make notes of prominent pointers, Okay. What else? Try to proofread once. Okay. One more thing. Reading and listening are connected. So make sure you don't skip any of the thing. Try not to skip any of the pointers that are related to the listening section and the reading section. Sorry, reading task and listening task. Okay. So be very particular or at the time of presenting your responses, and especially when you are reading. Make sure you make the pointers which are relevant and which are only one. Note making doesn't need to be accurate. It only needs to be understandable from your end, because eventually you are the one who's going to present your response properly, right? So it doesn't need to be accurate. The spelling doesn't need to be accurate at the time of note making, I'm saying. Not talking about the final response. Final response needs to be accurate in all terms. You are left with no other option. No scope of mistakes, no scope of errors are there in the final response. You can make mistakes in note making, because until unless it's just a matter of your understanding. If you can understand using abbreviations at the time of note making, fair enough, go ahead with that. But if you somehow not able to understand your writing only, then that's a matter of concern, because you have to come up with the note making in such a manner that it will understandable to you, and you can easily translate them or convert them into a full-fledged writing response, keeping in mind all the connectors that you can use in your writing response. Okay, I'll be telling you how you can come up with that. Okay. Now, so yes, this is the exact preface of the question that you're going to encounter in your examination. Okay. Read the question below. You have 20 minutes to plan and write your response. Your response will be judged on the basis of quality of your writing and on how well your response presents the points in the lecture and their relationship to the reading passage. Typically, an effective response will be 150 to 225 words. That I've already told you. This is the exact word limit that you need to be on, and word limit is important because you know what happened, the moment you start writing, it starts, when you start going into the flow, you start inculcating the irrelevant pointers as well. Okay, you start mentioning the irrelevant pointers as well, which is something which is going to be very lackadaisical in nature, and so actually not going to give a good sense of that. Okay, so you need to be very precise on what you are going to present at the time of your response and how you are going to present your answer so that it looks meaningful eventually, right? Now, so this is just have a quick look at it. This is the entire preface that how you're going to encounter in your examination. Okay. Now, while reading, 3 minutes to read, look for the main ideas. This is what I already told you. Take notes on key points and don't memorize. Try not to memorize the responses, because that's not going to be fruitful to you. I'm telling you again and again. Rather, what you can just do is, you can just make notes and focus on the listening, because what happens is, like, don't get stuck to one section. It means once you have read the passage, once you have made note, get to the listening. Now you need to focus on the point of view over here. What's the best point is, the information has been already given to you. Okay, you don't have to fetch the information from somewhere. You don't have to use your brain into inculcating the information which is there. You are not only just going to get a topic and you have to write upon that. You will be getting a full-fledged information. Based on that, you just need to filter out the content which is relevant and which is to the point, that can actually be used in that particular response, right? Now, so while listening, same topic, different perspective, 2 minutes, take notes, listen for the pointers that respond to the reading passage, right? So you need to tell how it is contradicting to the reading passage. You need to tell how it is different from the listening pattern. You need to tell how it is adding on to information to that particular thing. So these are the things you need to keep in mind. So I know these things are very much in, it's going to sound way too much. But yes, you have to be a real quick in that. This is the reason we need practice at the same time. Okay. Now, While writing, summarize the pointers in lectures, explain how they relate to specific pointers in the reading passage, right? Now, let's have a quick look at how to approach take effective notes. This is what I have been telling you since I've started the session. While reading the passage, note down the main pointers and supporting details. Do the same during the listening passage. Focus on how speakers refute or suppose the pointers from the reading. Identify the contrast. Your task is to highlight how the lecture disagrees with the reading portion. Structure your notes clearly and show these contrasts. In order to show these contrasts, you should be very well aware of the contrastive word that you can use. You cannot use but all the time. You cannot use yet all the time. You have to come up with an innovative word that's dealing with the contrast, that is although, in spite of, despite, and remember it is in spite of and it is despite. It's not despite of. So just knowledge, okay? And on the contrary, on the other hand, on the other side. So these are the words that you can come up. Make sure you have a good range of connectors with you all the time. Connectors or cohesive devices bring a sense of clarity in your responses. So make sure you use them instead of just using and but all the time. Try to restrain the usage of conjunction and try to enhance the usage of connectors. That will exactly give you the exact word which is related to your response transition. Okay. Now, so yes, paraphrase, don't copy. Now, one thing that is already given, this is a sort of, you can say, an advantage or privilege that is being given to you. You have the privilege of cut, copy, paste, but, you know, being a trainer or being someone who can recommend you something is highly not recommended, because when you cut, copy, paste the exact thing into your response, then your sense of spontaneity is decreased at that particular point of time. So these exact or you can say this entire English proficiency test is meant to check how well you are at presenting your responses, how well you are at your creative thought process, right? So try not to do, try to paraphrase it or try to come up with response, something that shows that you have, contributed something to that response, right? Now, organize your response, start up with an introduction, summarize the topic, then present 3 main pointers from the reading alongside the corresponding counterparts from the lecture. It's fairly not important to, present a conclusion to that. Okay, it's just that how you're going to present your response. You can give a short intro on how you're going to start up. You can give a body, definitely, that's very important. And at the same time, you can come up with a proper justification to your answer, a proper example if possible, right? Okay, you're not restrained to use examples only. It's not that mandatory. It's like just to clarify your answer, whatever pointers you can come up with. You think that okay, this is going to something that's going to bring up more clarity. Go ahead with that. Okay. Now, accuracy and completeness. Your response should be accurately conveyed in the relationship between the reading and listening passages. Ensure you include all key pointers. I have been telling you since the time I've started the session, because both the reading and listening sections are interconnected to each other. So take decision wisely. Your essay should be well organized with clear structure that logically presents the information. Language use range of vocabulary and sentence structure to clearly express the ideas. Your grammar and syntax should be used correctly. Ensure your response is coherent and easy to follow and understandable in nature. Okay, now let's try it. Okay, here is a passage. I'll be reading it for you guys, and at the same time I'll be explaining you that as well. Okay, just to have a clear idea on how the passages are going to come. Critics argue that current voting system utilized in United States are insufficient or prone to inaccuracies, okay, which can have significant repercussions, particularly in closing contested elections. They advocate for adoption of more efficient and reliable computerized voting system to replace traditional methods. Now, this entire passage or this entire paragraph is dealing with problem and solution, as you can see. Okay, this is what you can see. Now it is talking about the voting problem that people are facing at the time of, the current voting system of where? United States. People are facing problem. Then what is the problem? The traditional voting system, a common source of error stems from voters' inadvertently selecting the wrong candidate on the ballot, often due to difficulties in locating their preferred candidate among numerous names. Now, according to the traditional voting system, people are facing a lot of issues at the time of voting the particular candidate that they want to, and because of the numerous names that are present in the ballot, it is becoming difficult for them, and they are ending up voting the wrong person that they don't want to, right? Now, this issue addressed by the computerized voting machine. Now, this is the solution that has been mentioned over here, which is the electronic way of voting. Okay, so this is addressed by computerized voting machines by which employs user-friendly touch screen technology. Voters simply touch the candidate's name on the screen to cast their vote, with options available to enlarge the text for improved visibility, particularly beneficial for those with visual impairments. So basically, these kind of problems are being assessed by those kind of people, so basically it has been done, the electronic replaced is being replaced for the traditional mode, because people were facing a lot of issues because of a lot of names were given. So they have came with the touchscreen technology, so that people don't actually face problem in voting the desired person they want to. Okay, now what happened? Furthermore, traditional voting system heavily rely on manual vote counting by officials, to which a process prone to errors given the sheer volume of ballots and vote. Human error during manual counting can necessitate the time-consuming and costly recounts. Conversely, computerized voting system eliminate the potential for human error, as all vote tallying is swiftly and accurately performed by computers. So basically what happens is, like in this manual or traditional method, what usually happens is, like when the traditional method of voting was practiced, at that point of time the votes were being counted manually, to which, because of manual counting, a lot of errors were occurring at that point of time, and also the errors were leading to the recounts, and definitely it's going to be very time consuming and effort consuming at the same time. Okay, now what is being done in order to eradicate that issue? Despite the advantage of computerized voting technology, some express concern regarding the widespread implementation of complex voting system nationwide. However, proponents argue that society routinely relies on intricate computer technologies for banking, transaction and secure data communication without hesitation, highlighting the potential for similar trust and advanced voting system. Okay, now this is the entire reading passage. I have explained you, and it's going to be beyond 3 minutes, I know that, but it was very important to explain it to you. Now the same explanation you need to have at the time when you are going to get the reading passage. Okay, I know all of it sounds way too time consuming. It is going to be if you don't take if you don't make yourself habitual to reading quickly and in taking out the inference from the deducing the inference from the passage, right? So it's really very important for you to take the meaning out really clearly and come up with a proper response and note making. Now you can see the passage was so long, right? Almost 300 words. Now these are the notes that you can come up. So these are the exact type of notes that you need to come up. You don't have to write passage and paragraphs out there. Just need to come up with one pointer that is actually going to deal with your response. Okay, computerized voting would reduce mistakes by people when they vote. First pointer. It would reduce mistake people make when they count the votes. Second pointer, not any riskier than other common electronic transaction like banking, and that's all. Okay, now let's have a quick look to the audio. I'll be playing an audio and you are going to listen to that. Okay.
Discussing the topic covered in the reading passage. Although traditional voting systems have their flaws, transitioning to computerized voting might not offer a significant improvement. While computerized voting may appear straightforward to those accustomed to technology, It poses challenges for individuals who lack access to or familiarity with computers. This includes people who cannot afford computers or those who do not read. Consequently, these individuals may struggle to navigate computerized voting machines, leading to potential misvotes or voter disenfranchisement due to technological intimidation. Moreover, while human errors in manual ballot counting are acknowledged, there's uncertainty regarding whether computerized systems will fare better. It's essential to recognize that computers are programmed by humans, leaving room for programming errors. Unlike human mistakes, errors in computer programs can have more severe consequences, potentially resulting in the miscounting or permanent removal of thousands of votes from the record. Additionally, many computerized voting systems lack physical vote records, rendering a recount impossible in cases of suspected errors. Regarding our reliance on computer technology in banking and communications, it's crucial to note that these systems underwent extensive refinement before achieving their current reliability. Unlike voting, which occurs infrequently, banking and communication technologies are extensively used on a daily basis, allowing for iterative improvements over it. The sporadic nature of elections provides limited opportunities to develop confidence in the reliability of computerized voting systems.
Okay. So I think you all might have heard the audio. Okay, this is how the audio is going to be. And the moment that 3 minutes gets over, this 2-minute audio will be played immediately, right? And you have to be very precise on paying attention on what are the pointers that are already mentioned in the reading passage and what are the pointers you need to take in consideration in the listening. Is there anything that the opinions are contradicting in nature? You need to be very precise on that. Okay, now here are some of the pointers that we need to take from the listening audio, which is, it is doubtful that computerized voting would solve the problem of voting. Okay, people are not familiar with the computers and can vote incorrectly. Now, it is not important that you're going to write the spelling of incorrectly correct and familiar and all that. So if you are lacking time, if you're not able to write as as complete as this, you can just write the abbreviations, because note making doesn't have to be accurate on the grammatical as well as on the spelling portion. So you can write the contractions and abbreviations at the same time, that is understandable to you. Okay, so this is what you can do in order to save time. Okay, now computers can also make mistakes in counting votes. Don't have written records that can be checked. Voting machines are used only once or twice a year. Okay, now let's have a quick look at how our response is going to be. In my opinion, the lecture presented several reasons why the computerized voting system cannot effectively replace the traditional voting system. These reasons can be summarized as follows. Now, this is a clear introduction to what are the things that are being presented. Firstly, not everyone is proficient in using computers. So, individuals lack access to computers other than not accustomed to using them. And some may even feel intimidated by this technology if voters are unfamiliar with the computer usage. It raises concern about their ability to navigate the voting process effectively through computerized system. This directly challenges the assertion made in the reading passage that computerized voting is simpler by merely touching the screen. Again, secondly and thirdly, the kind of words that are being used in order to divide the opinion is actually very appreciated if you're going to do this, because it is definitely dividing the entire opinion, whether it is contradicting, whether it is giving up an opinion. So basically this is dividing the opinion very clearly, which is actually making sense. Okay, computers are susceptible to errors similar to humans. Since computers are programmed by humans, errors are inevitable within the computer system. Issues arising from computerized voting system may be more severe compared to those resulting from human error. A high volume of votes could be miscounted or removed from the system, leading to challenges in recounting the votes. This contradicts the reading passage claim that only human error occurred during the vote counting. Now, the reason, the justification, and the things that are already mentioned in the reading passage is exactly mentioned over here, right? So now it is like you should be come up with a response that no one can question you on why this particular statement is being mentioned, on why this particular statement is being written, because you have provided enough justification for your particular statement, that because this is the reason it is contradicting to the statement that is already there in the reading passage. Now, the reliability of computerized voting system is questionable due to their lack of stability. While people trust computers for conducting banking transactions, it's because computerized banking systems are utilized daily and regularly, thus achieving stability over time. However, voting occurs less frequently than banking transactions, and as a result, the reliability of computerized voting system has not been thoroughly proven. Now, this is the exact answer. No need to give a conclusion. It is already concluding the fact or the opinion that is there mentioned, and it is 233 words with the proper usage of the word constraint and the content constraint and the language and the time constraint, right? Now, content accuracy, 100% accuracy of the content is there, okay? मैम प्रोसेस चार्ट में दिक्कत होता है. Okay, fine, I'll take this into consideration. Don't worry, we're going to be dealing with that as well. Please let me know, and we are there to read your comments even after the session, to make sure you can comment everything that you are feeling problem in. We can come up with a compile session with that, okay? Okay, accurately summarizes all main pointers from the lecture and connects them effectively to reading passage, covers every key idea, showing a deep understanding of the relation between the reading and the writing listening section. Well organized with clear introduction, body paragraph and conclusion. Each paragraph addresses a specific point of reading and contrast it with the lecture. Okay. Now, strong language usage of variety of vocabulary. That yes, this is what I mean when I say use variety of vocabulary or wide range of vocabulary. Don't get stuck to one word and keep on repeating them again and again, because that shows that how limited you are on your vocabulary portion. If you actually want to show up how much vocabulary you know, you need to come up with the exact word that's matching the content, that's matching the situation, that's matching the exact response that you want to give. Okay. Appropriate length, the length is actually addressing the length of word limit which is already being given, that this helps you to be into the word limit, to be this helps you to present the relevant content out there and filter out the irrelevant ones. Okay. Now, okay, practice active listening, develop summarization skill, enhance paraphrasing technique, organize ideas logically, and time management. These are some of the most crucial pointers that I would like to mention over here. These pointers will help you in order to come up with a better response, and that you are able to, that you are aspiring for. Now, let's have a quick 2-minute summary. And yes, so basically we have started with the reading. Okay. 3 minutes, the timer will be there. It will be presented on your screen. Now, take care of accuracy. One more thing I would like to tell you over here is, whatever information is being provided to you, make sure you present your answer with respect to that information only. You don't have to add on to your information. For example, like the voting system was not working, it could we can also come up with another traditional method of voting. No, whatever is being given in the entire passage, in the entire audio, please stick to that, because you are restrained to certain information which is being given. Okay, so don't add your own information. Okay. What's next? Reading done? Develop a listening habit. Okay. Take care, very importantly, take care of grammar. I know there are a lot of you who are going to come up with a lot of grammatical mistakes. Okay, take special care of grammar because it is actually very important. Proofread your response after writing. Evaluate and revise. Got it? These are the things that you need to be very careful of at the time of presenting your response. If you want to take a quick screenshot, you can take it. Though all these pointers I have already discussed and I have been discussing since I started up the session. Okay. And if even after this you don't get it, if you need further guidance, please feel free to comment on the comment section, and even after the session gets end, because we'll be reading all the comments later on, and make sure you take in consideration all these pointers, revisit the lecture, rewatch it, so that whatever doubts or queries you guys are having, you can just get them eradicated and rectified if you're making any such similar errors that I have talked about. Okay, now, so yes, that's all. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening so patiently. I hope you like this session and keep on practicing, keep on learning, and all the very best to all the students who are preparing for their TOEFL examination. Okay, bye-bye. Take care. See you in the next session. Bye.